Well, there we go. Guess we might as well get started here. Oof. Look at that. So, we're just doing some high difficulty grinding right now today. We might do something different in a little bit, but for now, we're just looking to get a high difficulty win. And I'm still kind of sort of having lunch. I will try to keep my inevitable crunches to a minimal volume. So, right now, we don't actually have any solid leads as to what moves can be made. So, like, 3 of those 4 around that 5 are 1. Darn it. Ugh. So I've gotten surprisingly close on this one, it feels like. In the past. But you know, that's a deal. Darn it. Cool. Cool. So this is a very high difficulty board. Crunch, crunch, crunch. I wanted the one below there. I was doing some practice with a Minesweeper solver earlier today. And surprisingly, and I guess not unsurprisingly, it should be kind of expected with the skill that I have in the first place. But a surprising amount of my intuitions about where I would expect mines to be turned out to be based on probabilities, whether I was thinking about the probabilities explicitly or not. Which that was interesting to learn. One there. So like one thing I know is that in general, those two that I opened up there are more likely to not be mines than to be mines in that situation. And that's essentially because there are more positions, there's a higher probability that those are mines, because there are more situations that, give me a second. That have a mine fill in one of those two spots than there is in the external two spots. Sorry, I'm just finishing lunch, and this lasted longer than I expected it to. Oh, I was wrong about that guess. Darn it. I thought that was certain. There we go. One last chip to wash down the salsa, and then we'll be all good. Or as you could say, all fine and dandy. Okay. So having these big open spaces is kind of worrying for me in this board in particular, because it is a almost 30% mine density. So having open spaces like that means that there are, and it's normal to have some places that are higher density and some that are lower, but it's worrying because it means that places with such low density like here have to be counterbalanced with places with very high density. Now, this might just be the board that works out for me, but, you know, that's not necessarily how it works. You know, there we go. Okay. Yeah, that one seemed a bit more... So yes, shall we show off a Minesweeper solver? It's like this one in particular. So we're 31 by 21. So... Oh, right. 0, 1, 2. And so that is the kind of stuff that a board solver does for you. So you can use this, you can use something like this as a tool to help you think best about the plays that you're going to make. So like, okay, so now that we know that, that is a 2 right there. Well, this 3 solves that too, which means those spots are open. Right? This is stuff that you can do on your own. But while you're... Yeah. While you're, hey! I'm just showing off this tool. So like this, and it tells you probabilities of whether a mine's going to be in a place. So like there's a 66% chance that there's a mine there. There's a 6.8% chance that there's a mine here. So it suggests you make a move there instead. and this one is 13%. So, you know, it's not the it's not telling you that this is definitely going to work for you, because, well, right now we're in a guessing position. There is no solve right now. So yeah, it's interesting. All right, that was a pretty big clunk. And so, as a tool, this is a fun one. Or this is a nice little tool for practice and learning. Oh. It takes the fun out of it for sure, but I was practicing with this to try and learn new patterns, because I'm certain that there have to be, like, and this is more trying to learn probability patterns, because, like, I would not think of those three being the equivalent probability of those two. And so this is more of a learning tool, not a do it for me tool. I'm using this as a learning tool. So, like, I'd do that. Wait, it's I'm gonna stop here in just a second. But, like, so, okay, so there has to be a mine here. I don't actually quite know why there has to be a mine here. Let me think about it. Well, there has to be a mine in one of those two places. Has to be. Which means there has to be a mine in one of those two places. And since there isn't a mine there, there has to be a mine there. Okay, that makes sense. And so, like, I don't chain that logic. Off the top of my head. But I feel like I should be able to chain that logic. And so it's just, like I said, it's a learning tool. So, like, right here, I would feel pretty safe with that move right there. Just kind of in general. And that ended up solving things. Okay, why does that solve? Why does that solve? But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and close this down, because I don't want to look at that anymore. Actually. Yeah, I closed it. Cool. No, it just went to the other screen. Oh, that means those are safe. I see. Let me figure out why those are safe. And analyze it myself. Okay, you go that way. Gah, there we go. So it says that, and that are safe. Which is 3, 3, and 3. Oh, so that one is safe because this one had gotten every option but this 2. So that's a 1 right there. Which means there's 2 guaranteed up there. Huh. Which means there actually has to be a mine there. Let's start over. Yeah, but I would say that it takes the fun out of it for sure. But if you're trying to get better, sometimes you have to do things that aren't fun. Because, like, I did learn that that a lot of my instincts, as I have been wanting to call them, are actually based on probabilities. Whether I'm actually doing the math on the probabilities or not, I'm unconsciously, like, whether I'm consciously doing the probability math or not, I'm unconsciously doing it and making choices based off of probabilities, at least of what I've seen in the past. So that was an interesting bit of knowledge to learn, because I didn't actually expect that. I kind of thought that I was guessing, and I was guessing well, but it turns out that it seems to be that I actually have some intrinsic part of me that deals with probabilities well. It's interesting. Which, you know, it makes sense, because I've always been good at like multiple choice tests and things like that, which are inherently probabilistic, are inherently affected by probability. Yeah. I am certainly a numbers guy. Like, just earlier today, I was talking to Judah in particular, but he was asking about a business idea that he has, and well, if you knew what, like, if based on what I do, like I do a lot of work with sound at my church and stuff like that. So it kind of makes sense that I would have this, not the knowledge and skill base that I have. But, like, interestingly enough, I have in the past looked into being a sound, like, owning my own sound system and being available to rent that out as not just the sound system, but also my skill set as a decent sound tech, to, you know, as a side gig, and that was a mistake. But interestingly enough, like, since I'm a numbers guy, I'm probably one of the, like, at least in my group of friends, I'm probably one of the people who gets asked about business decisions more often than others, because I have this inherent sense for numbers, it seems. I don't know. And I finished my daily. Which, this daily was a boring one, just get 4,000 experience points, so, you know. Of course, the amount that it gives back doesn't actually count towards my other quest, and it's grumble, grumble, grumble. But I'm happy about where... No. It's one of those things where I'm generally happy to help. And I just happen to be one of the people who's often knowledgeable about things that people need help on, and if I'm not, I'm probably too willing to put in the effort to do research about things. But like, and it does make sense also, because I insert myself into communities where my skill sets are useful. So like, I'm a streamer. My skills are largely based around like a surprising amount of my skills are based around like sound and video and it's like audio and video and stuff like that. And surprisingly enough, as a streamer, that's actually pretty useful. This is not a surprise. I take on hobbies that I already have. Like most of my hobbies that I take on, I already have a basis of skills in the hobby. Why is it that way? Because probably because I'm a bit of a perfectionist about things, and you know, I really enjoy when I'm very skilled at something. But it is very painful. Like I really do not enjoy the process of getting good at something. Which is a real problem. Like that is an issue with my, like, I would say that's a bit of a character defect, which, you know, we all have them. And so that's probably one of my bigger personal defects, is that I'm perfectly happy working very hard in a place that I already have the skills to be successful with, to be, you know, I'm good at this. I have these skills. I will be good at doing this. So like if I already have the skills, I am perfectly happy putting in a ton of effort. But if I have to go through the effort of building the skill set in the skills in the first place, I do not do well with that. And sometimes I do. Like sometimes I convince myself that it's worth it to learn, to put in the effort to learn. But often it is not uncommon that I can't convince myself. So I guess I could say I'm good at what I'm good at, but I'm not good at becoming good at new things. I'm not good at learning new skills. That's like new skills. Yeah, I think I'm gonna change to a different difficulty. Because, you know, 29,000 is quite high. Yeah. So I like, it's one of those things. It's not uncommon for me to call myself something along the lines of a jack of all trades. Because I have a lot of skills that I am. My dinner turned out really good, actually. Let me pull up a picture of it. Yeah, turned out pretty good, actually. The broth that we got was pretty spectacular, or that I got was pretty spectacular. So, and I have a lot of it because I really only shop at a store that sells in quite a bit of bulk, even though I only buy for one person. So, but it is very good. It is not bone broth. No, it's actually it's vegetable broth. It's very thick for a vegetable broth, from what I understand. Mm-hmm. But I have also heard pretty good things about good bone broths. So I might get a bone broth next. I don't know. I'm kind of expecting to be taking soups to work mostly for the next while, probably. So I saw a big bag of egg noodles that I could buy, so I might get those at some point. So I have other options besides just, you know, besides just various bean varieties for for substance in the soups that I make. And but it's really simple, and I like that. I've even when I was doing a super simple rice dish that I was doing for my lunches and taking that into work, it wasn't simple. It took a lot of effort to get it put together. Like the ingredients were simple, and it was all just dump out from a can, but it still took a lot of effort to just make it. And so I kind of stopped doing that for after a while, and I got into the place where I was. But making soup is super simple, so I'm thinking that's a 1-2-1 right there. So I'm thinking I'll probably stick with making soup for a while until, you know, I'll get tired at some point and choose to go with something else, and, you know. I've never been the kind of person who needs to... Yes, soup is super simple. Hey, Tobo. I did see soup pun. Ha. Ha 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 ha. Ha. There you go. Is that the laugh you were looking for? Not there. Oh well, that was a bad guess. Okay, well let's get the next good start, I suppose. Yes, the next good start is down in this corner. I don't know how to do that. I don't think there's a way to do that, I guess I should say. To solve that. That was good. I think that was stuck to guessing. There was a lot, like, there was a long time that I didn't really do much cooking. I cooked for myself in high school because my parents went on a diet and, well, it was a, yeah, excuse me. And so I wasn't going to have a choice to eat the things that they were eating because it wasn't just a diet, it was a whole fancy schmancy thingamadoohickey. And it worked very well. They took the weight they were trying to get off, and they kept it off for quite a while. But just that's an aside to the story. I had to essentially start fending for myself as a cook, as a chef for eating. Or fend for myself when it comes to the what I ate in high school. So I did that, but I never really cooked. And that's kind of something that I got from my family. We might cook, but if we cooked, we were almost always doing some sort of boxed meal or something along those lines. So it wasn't like we weren't spending much time in the kitchen, which is fine. You know, you don't need to spend too much time. You don't need to spend much time in the kitchen. But I've been more recently starting to get into actually cooking. And I think I enjoy it a little bit. Like when I was working from home earlier this year, or not earlier this year, last year, I actually cooked for myself lunch every day and dinner every day because I was home and it was just easier to do. It was actually easier for me to cook lunch for myself than it was for me to to just eat my packed lunch. And I had stuff in my freezer that I needed to get through, and you know, before this year, I wasn't very comfortable cooking, or before last year, I wasn't overly comfortable cooking meat. It was just something that I never really did, and like all the meat that I did, it was like, you know, it was chicken strips, and it was simple stuff that tell you exactly how to cook it on the package. And so I never really had oh, darn it, that was dumb. I never really had the chance or need to get used to cooking, like, you know, steaks or hamburgers or things like that. And that's kind of a that's kind of a thing to not cook that stuff. So it's, you know. But yeah, lunch at home. That's one of the main reasons that that's one of the reasons I've contemplated looking for a job where I would be permanently working from home. Is so that I would be able to eat good food for lunch and have time to cook dinner, because honestly, like, I'm a programmer. I can't put out 8 hours of effort a day. Like that's just not how it works. I can get pretty close some days, but you just, like, it is like being an artist. Like I am essentially in a creative position. You know, it is technically creative rather than artistically creative, but I am being creative all day. And so you can't have that part of your brain running at full force for 8 hours a day. Like, that just doesn't work that way. So it's one of those things where I don't have I don't see any reason why I couldn't take a few breaks during the day and like take a break getting close to the end of the day. Not a long one, but just long enough to get dinner started. You know, that's, I would argue that's perfectly reasonable. And if my business disagrees with me, then well, I don't know. Now, like, I understand some companies having expectations of 8 hours of work for 8 hours of pay in something that's not a creative position. So like if you're in a call center, yeah, it's different. But like as an artist, as a programmer, as an engineer, like you know, I'm not all of those things, but like those are very closely related jobs to what I do. I'm essentially judged based on my output, whether I'm getting the things done in the time period that they want them to get done. Oh yeah, and I'm totally on a salary. And so it's just it's yeah. So like if I was doing freelance work, I wouldn't like I would go off the clock for that time. And that makes sense, you know. Like they're paying for my yeah, it's different. Whereas I personally don't really want to do freelance work. I've looked into it and it doesn't look like fun to me. I would like to be my own boss, but if I'm my own boss, I would rather be doing that on my own time for my own projects rather than doing projects for other people, other companies. Which, sure, that has it's a lot higher chance of failure and stuff like that, but does that actually matter? Well, yes, it does. But does it really? Is it? No, it doesn't. Like, if I take that step, one of the best ways that I could take that step, being completely honest here, is if I... Why did I put a mine there? I knew there wasn't. Maybe when I'm older. Yeah, that's one option. An option that I am currently cultivating, as in this very second right now, is potentially doing that. Yeah, once I have no debt, that's a big thing. But part of what I'm cultivating right here, as while I'm streaming, is my presence as a content creator. And so if I'm a content creator, I can do what I want. Like if I'm earning my primary income from content creation, sure, I need to put in so much time a day on, like, I have to put effort in on doing the content creation. But I can do what I want. So, like, if I was a full-time streamer, you bet that I would have a regularly scheduled programming system. Like I wouldn't stop being a programmer. But I would do programming regularly, and I would have long-term projects that I'm working on in programming. Like I would be perfectly happy to make everything that I do open source. Or give it away for free for people who support me or something, whatever along those lines, you know. But it's by doing this, like, I don't expect to earn a living from streaming. That's not my goal. Like, I'm doing this to have fun. But it helps that my choice to have my avenue for having fun just so happens to have the potential to bring in income if that's where things end up going. And honestly, with the growth that I've seen over the last year, it's not an unreasonable option for me. Obviously, I'm coming from a place where I am, I'm a programmer. There's very few questions as to how well programmers get compensated. And that's it. I mean, that's it. So I wouldn't expect to replace a programming salary by streaming, but earning enough to make a living, that's perfectly within reason. A few of my coworkers once in a while, but not very often. And some of them are gamers, but they're not really but they don't really they don't really watch much gaming content. Yeah, I say that as if I'm actually producing gaming content. But no. Even if they did, I wouldn't be I don't think I've said anything that that's a problem. Like, I like my job. It's fun. To be completely honest, in my first self-review that I did, first year, one of the questions is, where do you see yourself in 10 years? And I was dead honest there. I don't know where I'll be in 10 years, but I would love to be running my own business. I would love to be doing game development full time. If that was independent game development, where I was part of the design team for the games, that would be that's all the better. So I'm not secretive with my ambitions. Oh, what? Why did I do that? Why did I do that? If I was gonna stay a desk jockey, the job I have right now is perfectly fine. I have spectacular benefits. Yeah, exactly. Then I have spectacular benefits. I enjoy the work I do. The company has proven to me that they value me as an employee. That's something that seems to be pretty uncommon in the programming world. But this is a small enough company that that's not in a big tech city. It's kind of a tech city, but it's not like I'm not in Silicon Valley. So they actually like, you don't get, like, it's not common to get a, oh, it was like a almost a 20% raise at 6 months into your time, like 6 months in at your 6-month anniversary. Whereas I got like I got a massive raise 6 months in. So like it is, they like, it's one of those things where they realize that just how much they lowballed me. And you know, I was looking for a job enough that I wasn't going to complain. And their offer, their lowball offer was what did I say? Did we say 4? I thought we said 5. So actually, I kind of, my brain, I mishandled time zones. So I'm gonna be finishing up this stream right about in just a little bit, because I have my meeting with my artist in just a few minutes. As in, like, 2 minutes. So, thank you for showing up. This was a, you know, short stream, but I wanted to get something out. I wanted to get some sort of stream out today. So, I thought I had 2 hours. I only had 1 hour. Oh, well. Time zones are a thing, and I always forget about time zones sometimes. But thank you for coming out, and even though, you know, I didn't make any progress on this today, I'm gonna keep trying. This one seems like it should be winnable for me. Yeah, I will see you next week. I might stream sometime this week because it's gonna be my last Minesweeper week, and you know, my last huzzah kind of thing. Last huzzah. You didn't see my air quotes right there, but I did them. So, well, yeah. Bye.